It's just after 1 in the morning here in Melbourne on the 8th of January. Struggling to get to sleep because I've got my hip operation in the morning. Not particularly looking forward to it. You never know how these things are going to go. Feeling pretty nervous, but fingers crossed it all goes okay.
Second Wednesday, quarterfinals day. So Sam Querrey of the United States versus Andy Murray.
Now the number one player in the world.
It's been a tough time for him. He's going in there certainly handicapped by an injury that he has not been happy to talk about, but it has appeared to be present. No matter how many reassurances we've had from the Murray camp that it's fine, that he's always walked like that. First serve percentage up. He's been moving spectacularly.
He knows his way around the grass court better than anyone out there. It's well handled by Greer. Bit surprised that Murray didn't move forward sooner. Murray's game dropped off pretty significantly at the end of that set. It's amazing how he seems to be noticeably limping, shrinking.
Certainly physically Andy Murray not right, and we'll find out more about that.
It was still a rumour that had to be quelled. Andy Murray had a bad hip.
BBC tennis correspondent is reporting that the specific injury is a labral tear. We've got some pretty extreme pain going on there.
As Andy Murray has pulled out of the US Open, saying his ongoing hip problem would not allow him to win the competition.
It's too sore, so unfortunately I won't be playing this year.
It's another major setback for Andy Murray, who is so desperate to be able to resume his tennis career.
Yeah, the last few months have been difficult, for sure. Did pretty much everything that I could to get myself ready.
Andy Murray arrived in Australia to make his return to competitive tennis.
Unless something happens the next couple of days, I don't see myself not playing because of my hip.
Andy Murray pulls out of this month's Australia Open after failing to recover from an ongoing hip injury.
There's some anxious waiting ahead for fans of Andy Murray after the former world number one threw nearly his entire season into doubt by announcing his hip injury was no better and he was going under the knife.
So I just, coming round from the procedure, went on a little bit longer than what was expected, but I've been told that it all went pretty well, so fingers crossed for a quick recovery now.
And then the next one down, so this is before we're quite finished, but so that's labrum.
For 29, as an athlete, I know that that's not particularly young, so I would expect to have some aches and pains in my body. But from the Querrey match, it was different. I was still, at the time, I was the number one tennis player in the world, and I couldn't walk anymore. And I couldn't put my shoes on, and I couldn't put my socks on. And when that went on for a little period is when I was starting to worry, because I just always expected that with each day that passed that it would just get better, and it didn't.
Yeah, that's really good.
Andy, that's pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, very neat, yeah.
You'll have nothing to show for it later.
I had a labral repair. My ligamentum teres was torn, so I had that removed. Yeah, I had significant inflammation in my hip as well, which he had sort of scraped out. There was pretty severe cartilage damage in there, but John felt like he'd seen worse. I'm pretty optimistic. I obviously just have to make sure that I do all the rehab properly and, get as much advice as I can in terms of when I should start doing certain things, when I could potentially start to compete again. But yeah, I feel okay.
People always say to me, they're like, oh, you must be loving having him at home now. And it's lovely in the sense that we are a young family with 2 small children, and, you know, he's been on the road for so long. But at the same time, he's home, but he's still working all day, every day, trying to get better. It's still such early days for anyone that's had that kind of surgery, and we obviously hope that he'll get there. I think more just for the sake of watching him in the garden with the children and, you know, being able to get on the floor with them, and that's probably our priority, is just to see him just around the house and living his daily life. Way more snow.
Yeah, I think it's coming. Well, there's a forecast. Tomorrow's going to be tricky getting in it.
Shane is my physiotherapist. Been working with him about 5 or 6 years. He's probably the nicest man that I've ever met. He's never rude about anyone, but he worries about everything, which we obviously enjoy winding him up about.
You have so much good stuff with that.
He was obviously tapping into my weaknesses. Yeah, I'm gullible enough to bite most times, so yeah.
Sometimes I view them as like an old couple that just know exactly what buttons to push.
I'd love to be married to Shane. I'd have so much fun. It'd be brilliant. Mark Bender is my physiotherapist, also known as Slender, which is obviously ironic because he's not particularly slender.
So you see, although Andy's recovering from his hip, we still do, Shane and I both still do lots of work on the rest of his body.
Mark would be, in some ways, the father figure. He's a voice of experience, especially in difficult times.
So there, Slender's such a fucking pro, isn't he? He's such a fucking pro. You can't coach this.
No, you can't teach that.
You can't coach it.
You can't teach that.
He gives the courses.
Yeah.
He doesn't take.
He gives the test. Matt Little, known as Treeks, is my physical trainer.
And I've been with Andy for 11 years now. Yeah, it's a long sentence.
What wattage am I looking at?
Well, we'll see. It's first Metcon you've done on here for a while.
You need to stop saying that.
Yeah,
because none of us know what it means.
Not at all.
Jamie Delgado is my coach. We know him as Delgy, which is self-explanatory.
Andy thinks he does nice hugs, but he's making people ignore him.
I played against Delgy when I was really, really young. I think I was 15. I could have been younger. And he was a professional at the time. And I smoked him. I beat him.
You'll always remind me of that. Because I was genuinely just playing terrible at the time.
The feedback was the surgery went fantastically well. We've got rid of the issues. Great news from our perspective. And so the job then is get him strong, get him fit, start to build up. He was making big strides in his strength and his mobility. He was getting decent scores on conditioning sessions, and then Donna's watching him on the reformer saying, look at his range of movement here. The only thing that wasn't heading in the right direction was pain. But from our perspective at the time, we're thinking, well, yeah, of course you're in pain, you're coming back from surgery, but if you're able to get strong, get mobile, get loose and hit balls again, that means you can play. It means you can get back on the court and try. because when we'd started to build Andy up to the higher levels of impact, he got very sore very quickly and just wasn't able to absorb that amount of stress through his body.
I mean, we were also getting told at that time that the hip would be improving with play, and he's getting stronger. You know, the injury's going to keep getting better. He's only had surgery a few months ago, so this was part of the process.
No movement that way at all. It's not the lack of movement so much as the issue. It's like it's sore and it feels weak as well.
Second serves were good. Your leg was kind of straightening out more. It's not perfect, but in fact, there's no one saying it's perfect. But it's you are kind of getting closer to that.
Like getting pumped over that is.
No, it's an improvement, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. It's so minor, and I just feel like there's such a long way to go.
Hello? Leighton! Can you hear me?
Yeah, no worries.
Hey mate, you alright?
Hey mate, good.
I was going to try and speak to a couple of the guys that have had the hip surgery and how kind of it was like during the recovery.
It was 4 months from when I had it done at after the Beijing Olympics through to the Hopman Cup was my first tournament back.
When you started playing again and stuff, you weren't sore anywhere?
Not sore, no. Not sore. I felt like obviously the first few times, but for you know, you've been 3 months. I was hitting at 8 or 9 weeks. So for me, those first couple of weeks, but once I got back to the 3 month mark and getting ready to play tournaments, I was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance. Like if I tried to play in three weeks, I mean, there's pretty much no chance I'd be able to do it. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right, mate. No worries. Anything else, just let us know.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
See you later.
See you guys.
Bye.
No worries.
The ambiguity comes when Andy's probably got in the back of his mind that other people have made it back from that surgery in that space of time. But the reality is, we didn't know how long it was going to take him to actually recover from that surgery.
Meanwhile, in tennis, and there's been some bad news for Andy Murray.
Bad news indeed. His recovery from hip surgery has run into problems. The Scot has yet to do any court work and has even pulled out of a couple of corporate appearances.
Some newspapers are speculating that the former world number one may not return in time for this year's Wimbledon Championships.
It was never going to be just a magic button that you push and the pain has disappeared. And I think maybe there was a time when Andy hoped that would be the case, but I think we all believe that he just needs to give it time.
Static stretch or sore. It's a big stretch and it's a little bit sore.
And his body at the same time isn't his own. He's got other people with vested interests, he's got people putting pressure on him, and he's got sponsors that get twitchy, and he's got media that have got an expectation on him, and kind of by his own doing, because I think he set goals for himself at the beginning of the year and publicly shared them, that he felt like he would be ready for the grass.
Walking's good. It just doesn't feel good.
Murray is not thought to have done very much at all on court in the past fortnight. Publicly, he has been targeting the grass court season for a return to the tour, but sources suggested he was ahead of schedule after an encouraging first month back in training. Now, though, there must be some doubt over whether he will be fit for the start of the grass court season.
What is the story? There is no story. What they want to do is me to say, yeah, I'm going to be ready to play Wimbledon, and then I don't play, and then it's a massive drama, like what the hell's happened, the rehab's gone a disaster. Like in situations like this where they've got other British players to write about that are doing really well, like why they have to try to put extra pressure on me when I'm going through a really difficult time. I don't get it. I don't have anything else to tell them except I'm rehabbing and hopefully I'll be ready. But that makes me feel better. What is the story? There is no story. What they want to do is me to say, yeah, I'm going to be ready to play Wimbledon, and then I don't play, and then it's a massive drama, like what the hell's happened, the rehab's gone a disaster. Like in situations like this where they've got other British players to write about that are doing really well, like why they have to try to put extra pressure on me when I'm going through a really difficult time. I don't get it. I don't have anything else to tell them except I'm rehabbing and hopefully I'll be ready. But that makes me feel better.
I think right before he had the surgery, people were questioning if he was actually going to be coming back. And then whilst, he came out and was very optimistic after the surgery publicly, I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's finished, he's over.
I'm assuming that this is the end of his career, and it may not be. It's just an awful long way back. It's a real uphill struggle from here.
With concerns now growing among fans and the tennis media about the Scots' future in the sport.
Surgery has to be considered, and with that the risk comes that it may end your career. History in tennis shows that. Gustavo Kuerten, Magnus Norman both had to call time in their careers after having operations on their hip.
The beginning of my career, it started with, not fit enough, doesn't work hard enough. There was articles out there that I was lazy and stuff and didn't practice hard.
Oh, it's gone again. That left thigh is gone again. Murray's physical conditioning has just dropped. This is not a pretty sight.
Injury has once again destroyed Andy Murray's chances.
Over 3 hours, Andy Murray simply had nothing left to give.
Yeah, and then it kind of moved on to basically that was mentally weak.
It's like he's in quicksand, Murray, mentally and physically. The negative body language, the negative verbal language, does that get in his way as well?
He's lost his temper, he's lost the plot.
The way he behaves, it's just is not good enough. And he won't win anything.
The other thing that always spurred him on was when anybody suggested that he couldn't do something. It was all that sort of chat. He's now lost 4 Slam finals. Is he ever going to win one?
The 74 years of hurt goes on. 75 years and counting.
The great British drought continues.
Whether it's criticism or not, I'm using it as criticism to drive, everything that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis.
I feel like for both of us, and knowing how we've grown up and the expectations, the pressures, everything that was ahead of us, he needed that philosophy about life. He needed that kind of mindset. And I feel like that has made him tough and just made his skin so thick that he can sustain anything.
He always had been one of the most talented players that I ever saw. When he had a couple of more years on the tour, I think he became more solid mentally,
Andy's the type of guy, how I sense him, he goes into hard work will pay off. And he played the most amazing tennis, and this is the reaction of a champion.
When somebody with his level is really able to work with that intensity, is because he really wants to do something more,
Maybe it's a slightly warped mentality in that when someone puts you down or whatever, you don't always have to respond with words. That's my way of doing it with actions.
I think the tennis gods got together and said, if this young man is going to get a Grand Slam, he is going to have to really earn it emotionally, physically. Down the tee, it is long, set to Andy Murray. How about a 1 hour, 27-minute set? And we are going to a fifth set in the U.S. Open final.
One game separates him from what many feel is his destiny.
It was long.
No longer second fiddle. No longer the questions. Can he? Will he? The answer is emphatically yes.
Andy Murray! Your 2012 U.S. Open men's champion, Andy Murray!
Tough, work hard, surround yourself with the right people, believe you can turn around matches and play through pain, play through injuries and all of that. Andy has shown that he can do that.
Every time he has faced adversity, he's always come back stronger. He doesn't give up on anything, and he's not giving up on himself with this just quite yet.
I mean, what was the aim of us getting together today? Because, I mean, I'm going to start.
Well, yeah, I mean, I felt like it was important for you to chat with everyone and then ultimately a plan moving forward to try to get back on the court. Because obviously I'm now coming up to 10 months since I last competed, and I'm not just going to continue doing what I'm doing for another 12 months. The pain is the thing that if I can't get rid of that, then obviously that's game over.
Seeing Andy, first of all, I realised he was in pain. So I thought, well, we can go nowhere further with this until we either get rid of his pain or at least make it so much easier so he can function and go on to the next stage. I suggested using an oral medication. I thought it was worth considering injection therapy, going with a traditional cortisone into the joint. Also, throwing into the mix was some nerve ablation, just to numb down one of the nerves at the front of the hip joint. To me, once you get rid of the pain and you get the range back, then it's very much down to the rehab team to work through the phases of rehabilitation.
Brian coming in, his thing was kind of to do his recommended rehab exercises a lot. So a lot of repetitions and multiple times throughout the day. Andy being Andy, obviously would follow that to the letter and would be doing kind of hours of stuff by himself when we're not around. That would explain why he's the athlete he is.
A lot of the time it is quite monotonous, but it's my job. You know, my job is to try and fulfill my potential and get the most out of myself, and the best way to do that is to surround yourself with good people and follow, to the most part, what it is that they're getting you to do. But what I like to see is I like to see them sometimes suffering as well. They spend their time working with me, basically ordering me to, do all of that stuff. And I don't think all of the time that they appreciate, how difficult it is. But then, when they participate and join in, something always goes wrong, quickly.
He's not happy unless he's going to go at one of us for our opinion on something or any little slip up.
All I ask is that you try your best. You didn't know. Did you?
He's a perfectionist, looking for every detail that could make a difference, thinking about how to recover better, how to be stronger, how to be smarter on the court.
I couldn't believe the amount of time he spent off the court preparing before and after practices, or the amount of serving. I've never seen a player serve as much.
Fucking animal. But he wasn't afraid of hard work and he believed in that.
Never forget, first week I ever worked with him. We did interval training. Coming towards the end of the session, Andy was on his knees. He was completely dead. I said, look, okay, we'll stop there, that's enough. He spoke to me and said, look, I don't know what it is within me, but I can keep going. I can just keep going through the pain. When you think it's over for me, keep pushing me because I can keep going.
Shit. No.
That's all right, that's good, that's good.
He was incredibly competitive on all fronts.
Oh, that looks deep.
He needs to win.
Ooh.
He needs to win an argument.
Andy, the ball's out.
And it's fairly exhausting, I'm not going to lie. And I think even he knows it's fairly exhausting.
You want to know every freaking thing why.
What do you mean, no?
If the trainer told him about the injury, why? The doctor told him why. Everything was why, and literally then he could go read 10,000 words about it on Google search.
His level of indecision, his desire to argue about the most minuscule issue.
Andy, Sam is the first U.S. player to reach a major semifinal since 2009.
Male player, right?
Yes, first male player. That's for sure.
But then not want to have conflict in his life about serious issues. Those characteristics are so important for who he is as a person and a player.
You can't go to Andy like ill-prepared because you get found out really quickly because he's got a thirst for stats, for the analysis. Like, he literally exudes excellence. So then when you're around him, you have to go at that level, otherwise you will get left behind.
So with somebody like Andy Murray, he recalled his 15, 20 years of working very hard as a tennis player. And that's why I think in those latter phases of rehabilitation, he got through those really quickly. You pull upon the muscle memory and everything your body has learned to take you on to the next heights, wherever they be.
Andy Murray, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Good. Moving all right?
Yeah. Good. Well, I think so, yeah.
Well, look, use a word to describe it, like a tightness or an ache or nothing. By now, we've got to this part of the story where Andy had a couple of pretty big cortisone injections into the joint.
How are you doing? All right, very good.
So in essence, he was in this superpower period where he was doing different stuff, felt less pain than he'd felt for a long time, and he also always fancies himself on grass.
So I'm playing my first match back tomorrow since my hip surgery. It's been 11 months now since I last competed. It just feels quite strange. Normally, kind of during this period of the year, I'm going into the grass court season with lots of expectation and a lot of pressure. I don't really know exactly how I'm feeling just now. I'm quite apprehensive, pretty nervous. But nerves are usually a good thing. It shows that you care, and yeah, hopefully I can put in a decent performance.
A return to the tennis tour after nearly a year out. A Queen's Club comeback after January's hip surgery.
We're all amateur doctors at the moment. We're going to be examining his hip microscopically.
Grass court season brings its own host of demons and problems, but he missed being involved in the tour at that time of year. He missed the places, he missed the people, he missed the crowd.
From early in your career, for a British player, you're sort of told that it's the most important period of the year. I didn't really believe that at the beginning because I didn't love the grass court season that much. I didn't love the tournament. But then as I got older, although I found it very stressful and everything, the grass court season was a period that I enjoyed playing the most.
Those 3 weeks in the tennis calendar for him, I think it's just about more than, oh, this is Andy the tennis player, it's Andy the person. There'd been nowhere else that he'd laid himself as bare, or that had been the scene of so many highs and lows.
Championship point.
Everybody always talks about the pressure of playing at Wimbledon, how tough it is, but it's not the people watching. They make it so much easier to play. The support has been incredible, so thank you.
stop. This is the ball digging deep.
Like every year I would want to put in it some capacity.
He's back. Andy Murray.
Yes, nothing's changed at all.
Watching TV, if I'm out there like limping around and hobbling around, it's just not good.
Murray's broken again. His resistance is all broken as well. Kyle Edmund wins the Battle of Britain here.
Doesn't matter like how sick or injured I've been, I've never called up and said, oh, I'm not coming in today, or if my hip was sore, like, guys, I'm not gonna do the day's training. And that's something that that I worry about, not having that structure. I'm sure lots and lots of athletes go through it as well, but you've had for your whole life, and I worry about that.
So I guess post-Wimbledon there was a belief that, well, if he gave himself a bit longer to get a bit stronger, you know, work on those kind of physical things while the pain was a little bit lower, then there could be more improvement. And so he went and had another second nerve ablation, which was more successful than the first.
I got here very early, I took the train and I didn't know it was going to be that fast.
Our body has sensory nerves, and those nerves give a signal of pain back to the body.
Well, I think there's one case in front of us. Okay. It'll take 15 minutes and then we're ready to go.
Okay. So should I get ready now?
Yes. Yeah.
Andy had an intervention where that nerve had heat put through it so that it frizzled a little bit and didn't work for a little while. So that would ease Andy's pain, although he'd be still getting the load going through his body.
That's brilliant.
Let's see what you've done.
What do you think of it? Beautiful.
This is just sort of...
Centre court Wimbledon, that's the thing.
So you didn't even have to fucking tell him what it was.
Because of the shape of the
Let's
arena,
see.
that's what.
Exactly. Huh?
Let's see.
No, absolutely not. I'm not showing
That's
you
why
on
I
camera.
agree.
She's still gone. There you go.
Sign button. I wonder what it is.
You put sort of the back.
Well, I haven't finished it yet, obviously, but you know, I'm getting asked to show my work before it's done. And also, I'm not in a creative space right now. This is not where I do my art. This is I'm sketching for my next piece. This is going to be my next piece.
Like a goldfish in a bowl right now, just being stared at.
Yeah. Do you think Picasso used to have people filming him do his best works?
No.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to sleep. Yes, please. Hello. Okay, great.
I just need to check some things with you before we go. Is that all right?
Yes.
And we did a training session, I think, a couple of days after that. And I remember it very, very clearly. He walked out on the court and he said, guys, I'm feeling pretty good today.
When the blood dries in my veins and my heart feels no more pain, I know I'll be on my way to heaven's door. I know when I knock, I'll be hoping I don't drop to a place where I will rise like before. I know when I knock, I'll be hoping I don't drop to a place where I will rise like before. My heart stops beating.
This is great, actually. Which again, when you've been through what we've been through, when he turns up and says, I feel great, then ears start to prick up, the energy changes. We had the catapult and I said, look, let me try a few sprints.
I know when I knock, I'll be hoping I don't knock to a place where I
It was like watching Murray of old. There's certainly elements to his on-court demeanour, to his chasing down.
How about that point?
And even his sudden realisation, actually, I can go for it.
Yeah, he was being completely defiant, a complete nightmare with all his gesticulations and shouting at himself. But you could tell he was having the absolute time of his life.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Shouting at everyone.
He looked like he hated everybody,
yeah.
But actually he loves it.
Magical Murray somehow finds a way to win on his comeback to hardcourt tennis. As expected, there was a fair amount of rust in his game, but there was so much heart, determination and spirit from the three-time Grand Slam champion.
And there have been a number of stages where I thought, I'm not sure we're ever going to be able to see him on a court again, because if he...
He was feeling good for a few days, got through some tough matches. He beat Edmund in the second match, which was unbelievable performance.
Those matches were 3 hours, and he just wasn't ready for match after match of 3 hours.
I think the more he played, the more the pain came back. So the interventions that he had, the cortisone and the nerve ablation, were considered to be short-term fixes.
And the Marius Copil, again, just visibly in so much pain match.
Oh yes, that's a fine way to close it out. And are we going to witness a hoot from Andy Murray?
Somehow got through.
Murray wins another marathon in Washington, D.C.
It's a lovely shot, isn't it? We've all missed it. He certainly missed it. Incredible performance all week from Murray. Over 8 hours he has been on court. It's been a tough comeback for him.
It is not an exaggeration to say that it's prolonged. He is absolutely sobbing audibly.
Pretty upsetting to listen to.
It is, yeah. I found it a very profound moment.
So it's 5:09 a.m. in Washington. I managed to win my match today against Marius. My body just doesn't want to do it anymore, and my mind doesn't want to push through the pain barrier anymore. I was just hoping I was going to feel better than this after
16, 17 months, but it was a really emotional night for me because I felt like I'm coming to the end, and I'm really sad about that because keep going, but my body is telling me no, so it hurts, and yeah, I'm sorry that I can't keep going.
Andy was completely emotionally and physically spent. There was nothing left there anymore.
Rich, how you doing?
Hey Andy, silly question, but how have the last few days been?
And yeah, I was struggling because I was sort of, I was in a lot of pain. But the thing is, when I take a few weeks off and train and stuff and rehab, like my hip feels better. But I don't know how again it's going to respond to when I play matches again.
We were faced with, he was never going to be fully free of pain, and it was just the question of how much does he want to keep playing? How much does tennis mean to him, and what price does it come at?
When we spoke last time, I asked you what your biggest regret in all of this would be, and you said I wouldn't want to ever say that I didn't give it the best go from this point forward.
I do remember getting him to commit to trying through to the end of the year. I still had the feeling that he couldn't stop yet. Been a year now of Groundhog Day, and everyone was completely depleted by this stage. There's no doubt about it that someone else needed to come in with a different energy to elevate things and to try and pick things up.
Extend, love it. Extend, love it. Come on, kid. I am Bill Knowles. Ultimately, I see myself as a reconditioning specialist, and that's helping athletes come back following injury. Yes, good. Harder. Good. One more set down and back. Well done. That was a huge coaching point.
I had a lean time training, but I loved it. It was completely different, and it was fun, and it was a distraction from the
strange things and test, and Andy just loves to himself.
So, felt alright. Yeah, I went for it. Everything that he asked me to, although some of it would be textbook training and textbook methods, I went for it.
I began my career studying physical education, and I loved gym class growing up. So I keep it very elementary, very rudimentary, of these fundamental movement qualities that we teach little children to do at young ages. Yet, just because you're a pro athlete doesn't mean you're good at those anymore. Go back to the basics, and oftentimes they forget about their injury and they get into feeling like an athlete again. Nobody's pain-free. So, will Andy be, and he's right here, so I could just tell him, okay, will you be at a level of stiffness and soreness that is an acceptable part of the journey of a 30-year-old athlete with an injury history? Yeah, I think you have that good opportunity. I really do. And reality is, I think that's it. I think anyone just says, we can make this all pain-free, you won't hurt in any way, that's all bullshit. I mean, this morning he woke up with a pain in his ass. Now he knows how we all feel. Yeah.
I need to get out of here, I'll take that.
We do need to exhaust all avenues on how to improve an athlete. And you really have to be very, very open-minded and look at many alternative strategies and professions to do that. And Andy did see a lot of different specialists for that reason, trying different strategies and avenues to help him get better.
The thing that was really hard emotionally for Andy is that every single person brings hope and brings just some little flicker of, you know, this is it.
You have to think you're a bit mad trying to do similar things again and again and again, not expecting to get the same result. A bit of time, there's none of this stuff that's done in bad faith.
I think he's got a concept of, if this works, I'm happy to push it to the very end. If this isn't gonna work, he's probably confident to say, then I know it's not gonna work, but I gave it everything I had.
I was just hoping that time was gonna help, and with all of the rehab and the work that I've been doing with Bill, that, you know, it was gonna get gradually better. Because that's what's always happened with injuries. You know, throughout your career, you get injured and over time things feel better. And I was hoping that the same thing was going to happen.
You can make Andy feel better by him not doing very much or doing certain exercises, but the demands of the sport require that you bash that hip a lot and that you sprint at very high speed. You jam on the brakes and you sprint back in the other direction for hours and hours on end. And in reality, it was an unwinnable fight.
What did you feel?
I got zero enjoyment out of that at all. I didn't enjoy that at all. Like, none of it. Didn't enjoy that at all. Like, none of it.
Yeah, but the thing is as well for me is that there's no end point. So it's like, yeah, okay, brilliant, like I get back to competing. And everybody knows that my hip is going to be sore when I start playing again. You know, like I should be right now throwing myself around the court as much as I can to try and get myself ready for playing. That's what I should be doing just now, but I'm not. I'm trying to protect my hip for fucking nothing, for no reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, your short-term end point is Melbourne, isn't it? The short-term one, you know, and then you can kind of reevaluate after that. Say you flip the question and you say, right, that's it today, I'm done. You know,
I would feel a lot better.
well, yeah.
I'd feel a lot better. Because what else should I be doing? There's nothing else I can do. Like, if I decided to stop playing today, like, I would still go to Australia and play, but like, in the knowledge that it's like, it's not going to be for that much longer.
Yeah, that, like you say, as an end point.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, I can play in Australia and I can, whatever, you know, play for a couple of months and then take a break and play at Wimbledon and stop. But yeah, at least I would know that there's an end point.
He called me when I was putting Sophia to bed, and then went and called him back, and it was just pretty bleak. He always wanted someone to tell him to stop, and I'd tried to explain to him that nobody could, because it's no one else's decision to make. It's really hard because I think he felt like we were pushing him to keep going because none of us were telling him to stop. But in reality, it's, you know, it's not our place to tell him to stop. But I knew that's what he wanted, and I knew that's what he was calling me for. And so, yeah, I just told him, you're clearly not happy. You said you'd give it until Christmas, and we're here. It's the day that I was putting the Christmas tree up at home. Just call it a day.
Yeah, I wasn't desperate to make a decision, but I've been wanting to make it for a long time. And it's not just like, yeah, ultimately a decision has to come from me, but it also, you know, I feel like the decision impacts a lot of people that are around me as well. And I didn't want to give up without trying everything, because, you know, I feel like I deserved, you know, to give my hip that chance anyway, but also, yeah, I'd want everyone around me to know that I've literally tried to do everything that I could to keep playing. I was saying to the guys yesterday, and it seems like a dick thing to say, but I really feel like I don't deserve this. Like, I really feel like I don't. Well, I guess because I feel like I've literally done everything that I've been told. Like, yeah, as much as I know, like, on the court, I can be a pain and difficult, like, in lots of ways. I think I've been easy to work with because I do what I was told, like, in training. Like, I would, if a coach told me to play for 4 hours, I would play for 4 hours. I might complain about it, but I'd try my best. And like the same thing through the rehab, like however many times, 5 or 6 times, like going through that process, like I've tried my best through the whole process that I feel like I deserved a better outcome. Professional sport is not a long-term career. It's extremely short, and that's really difficult. Like, that's something that, like, I want to be doing this for, I want to be doing it for a lot longer, and it's been stopped because of something that's sort of I can't control that. And I think because it's sport, people think, why is it important? It's just tennis, it's just a sport. But it is for you, but it isn't for me. It's a lot more than that, to me.
I mean, we started playing tennis when we were 3 or 4 years old. You know, we went on this journey to be the best tennis players we could be, you know, had all these ups and downs along the way. And, you know, all of a sudden for Andy to kind of be at the peak of his career, and then all of a sudden that's like taken away from him, it's like, shit, you know, I'm never gonna find out what's the most I could achieve out of tennis.
You asked me a while ago why tennis was important to me. Yeah, so we used to do everything together, so when he moved away as well, that was also quite hard for me. And kind of around that time and after that, you know, for a year or so, I had like really lots of anxiety, but that came out when I was playing tennis. So a few times, like when I was competing, I would get really bad breathing problems, and yeah, is that my feeling towards tennis is that it's an escape for me in some ways, because all of these things it's stuff that's kind of bottled up. I don't know, because we don't talk about these things, and they're not things that are kind of things that are discussed, and the way that I am on the tennis court, I show, you know, some positive things about my personality, and I also show the bad things and the stuff that I really hate. But yeah, I feel like tennis allows me to, you know, be that child that has, all of these like questions, and that's why tennis is important to me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, not right.
in the last and then it's often difficult when that happens to remember like what it is that you want to say. But also I change my mind all the time as well. I need to say something today. I need to or not, or you know, or I don't announce anything, or I'm really, really nervous just now. I've been nervous the whole morning. Yeah. Like anxious. Like really anxious. I've got butterflies. Yeah. Yeah, when I got up and started walking around, I was like, oh, actually, my hip doesn't feel that bad. And it's like, when you're making a decision like that, it's kind of, I would want to feel like my leg is really fucking sore. It's like, fuck, is that the right thing to do? And, you know, but most likely it is. Most likely it is. Have some more banana bread. That might... Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. Maybe I should have notes. But the thing is, I know my subject unbelievably well, so it's not like I fucking need to, you know, maybe once I start talking, I won't shut up. Maybe I'll call Shane quickly and just tell him, like, I'm thinking that I'm fucking making a mistake. Shano? Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't have to say definitively what it is that I'm going to do. All right. Thanks, Shana. Cheers. Bye. I'm very edgy. I'm very on edge just now. Is that obvious? Are you aware of that? Yeah. It's sort of like very clear thinking and kind of very like sure of myself and.
Sorry. Yes, not feeling good. You know, pretty much done everything that I could to, you know, to try to get my hip feeling better and help look the rest of my team. I think I can kind of get through this until Wimbledon. That I'd like to stop playing. But I'm also not certain I'm able to do that.
Mean that this might be your last tournament?
Yeah, I think there's a chance of that. Yeah, for sure. I have an option to, you know, to have another operation, which, you know, is, you know, a little bit more kind of severe than what I've had before, and having my hip resurfaced. There's obviously no guarantees with that, and the reason for having an operation like that is not to return to professional sport. It's, you know, it's just for a better quality of life.
Yeah, I like playing on this court, it's nice.
I feel the sides are so much more open, aren't they?
I always feel like this one feels bigger than all of the others.
Yeah, does feel bigger to me.
But it's much smaller than centre court.
Yeah, like capacity-wise.
Yeah.
I guess you've just not got seats all the way around.
It's a non-ticketed court, so like anyone who buys a ground. It would be quite nice to get to 50.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to struggle, like, emotionally today. But, like, as I'm going to the court and, like, as I get on the court and stuff, because normally, like, you know, you're fucking nervous and pumped. I have a feeling I'm going to feel differently today.
Sorry for my little shit. Oh, sorry, love. No, I begged them. Just fuck off. I'm going on a date with Carly.
Hey Andy, you went for the video call. I would have spruced myself up if I'd known.
I just got up, so... I don't really dream that much, but I had one of those, you probably would have heard it before, like that, like the speeding dream. Yeah, where like I was like driving and the car was just going faster and faster, and my feet were like stuck onto the pedals.
What would you not want to look back in years to come about today and regret?
You know, there's going to be a lot of people there that, you know, not just my team, like family, ex-coaches, other players and stuff that are going to be there. So I would want to, I don't know, like try and find a way of taking that all in.
You're not the type of person that I worry about losing focus because you're enjoying it too much. I would be saying, spend time like taking it in, engage with the crowd. You always said you like when the crowd get on your side, get involved, and when you get pumped. And like I'd be committing to playing a style of tennis that I enjoy. And again, because as long as you do those things, you won't come off with many regrets. You might come off a bit pissed off if it doesn't go well, but you won't have gone too far wrong.
Yeah.
You know, win or lose, I think you'll be okay with it, right?
Yeah.
You can trust yourself as well. Fucking hitting the ball well. World-class player. You can play some fucking good stuff as well. Go after it. It won't be that easy for him either, right? Things tend to happen there. When you're expressing yourself like that, you'll... Tennis is about that, isn't it? Fucking feeling it. Passion. Play. I can leave it out there. So it's, as soon as the shake hands, you're going to get called pretty much.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll see you after.
Smash it.
I'll try.
Make some noise for Andy Murray! The first two sets were just depressing viewing, really. They were what we've come to expect from Andy Murray matches of late, of him labouring, of him stumbling around the court, unable to do what he used to do, while Roberto Bautista played a very nice brand of consistent tennis the way that he does. Then he dug into history, I felt. almost like he went back into his career to drag out the sort of performance that defined him. To win set 3 on a tiebreak, I do not know how. He won set 4 on a tiebreak, I do not know how. And it was so uplifting to witness him do what he does.
Impossible is looking distinctly possible here in Melbourne, conjuring up yet more magic, making them believers. What a night, what an atmosphere, what a competitor.
You know, he did used to feel there was a certain amount of animosity towards him, and I think he would accept now that, you know, there's a lot of love out there, and that's really nice. What he's done is just, I have to pinch myself sometimes. I can't believe that I sat here and watched it happen.
It's a golden triumph for Andy Murray.
Andy Murray is a double Olympic gold medalist.
And then, as Murray served to stay in the match, the crowd, sensing there would be few moments like this again, rose.
Crowd saluting Andy Murray. It's emotional, tears in the eyes of Judy Murray, and that emotion looking as though it's about to get the better of Andy Murray.
I know he didn't win, but he did win. That's how I ended up feeling about it. He gave everybody watching and listening, and he gave himself what he used to be.
Andy, this was goodbye. It was the best goodbye you could give any of us. It reminded us of everything that you are. You are an inspiration. You are a champion. You have the heart the size of Australia. We're going to miss you, but I'm sure you're going to miss this more.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to everyone for all of the support, my team, my family who are here supporting me, and everyone who's contributed to my career over the years. This guy was actually my first coach when I came on tour.
You've done very well.
Considering, it's impressive.
It was awkward, I'm not going to lie. I think everyone felt like it was like, oh, I think that's, I don't know, anyone. And then I was like standing there thinking, there's no way this guy's going to stop here. This isn't it.
I don't know, maybe I'll see you again. I'll do everything possible yeah, I'll do everything possible to try.
Because ultimately, it's not like in his DNA to give up or quit. It's just not. And that's why he's gone through this whole process, because he couldn't allow himself to say that's it. And this has got the better of me. This has defeated me.
the best thing about it.
Rusty, get inside. Rusty, get inside.
There'll be a few amusing letters in here from people that are saying they're going to fix my hip. I'm writing to you wondering if you've tried alternate methods of healing. I gain considerate benefit from the following homeopathic remedies.
It was absolutely by no means a fabrication that he was going to retire. Like, he had decided to retire, and he decided that in December. And then he changed his mind. And he changed his mind again. He started getting all geeky about the surgery and taking a huge interest in Bob Bryan and following all his matches and like asking people, how's he moving, how's he looking out there, like, you know, getting all sorts of info on it.
I got to give it to my brother here. It's his first win with a metal hip. So I think he's the first guy to ever do that. It's a good effort.
And then he spoke to Bob Bryan's surgeon, and yeah, he started to talk about it.
Having gone through the skin, we go down through the fat and the deep muscular layers. We are now impacting the head down as far as the line
I find
we
that
have to
funny.
mark the head-neck junction.
That they're literally using a hammer.
At that point, we know that the head is fully seated. We can reduce the head into the socket with external rotation of the leg.
And they just pop it back in. Just pop it.
Check that the position of the components is good. And check that there is a good range of movement and that there is no impingement anywhere.
I'm pumped to get it done now, but having watched it, I'm like aware of the significance of the operation now. It's a big operation. It's not just a little scratch and tiny little hole. It's like, it's pretty graphic.
He'd always said, oh, that is a good option for me when I finish. And then he started saying, oh, well, maybe I could have it soon. And then it was like, oh, but you need to retire at Wimbledon. You know, that needs to be the place that you say bye. So by having that surgery now, you're essentially robbing yourself of the opportunity to retire at Wimbledon. And then, yeah, I think he'd started to think like, maybe I could play at Wimbledon with a metal hip.
Hello? Hey, Brian. Yes. Thanks. Bye. I'm so gone right now. A week on Thursday. Because I find it quite a big deal. I like waiting another 10 days and like fretting over it and thinking, oh, I've made the right decision. Am I going with the right person? Well, right now I'm sure. And in a week's time, I'd be like, you know, I'll have the other surgeons on it messaging me about it.
I was actually thinking, genuinely, when I was walking in here, I was thinking about what that feeling, what my hip is going to feel like when I just walk, like what that feels like, because I've forgotten what that's like. Yeah. Especially if it starts squeaking. Your pain's almost over. How about that?
It's good news, but it's like an hour away.
I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, but that's something.
Yeah. I'll see you.
Yeah, try your best.
We'll just enter your phone. See you later.
Bye.
My hip's pretty sore.
Good.
It's a good idea to be running around in a skirt.
We got that camera.
Say again?
I just said about.
What a good idea to be running around the tennis court.
That's quote, unquote. Andy Murray, 12:30, 28th of January. 2019.
Andy Murray, 4:30, 28th, tennis never saying anything different.
Once I decided preparation, I wanted to have it as soon as possible because, yeah, ultimately, it's where I can find out whether I'm able to play or not, or how I'm going to be, for me, yeah, the better.
There was a lot of focus on it, on a matter of days potentially affecting when you could play again.
Well, yes. It's 3 days, so 3 days sooner than what I might, and that's what I guess. And for most people, like that doesn't seem like a lot, but for athletes, like it is. Like 3 or 4 days is big.
So this is all about competing again.
No. It's not all about competing again. That would be my dream. Like I would love that. I would love that to be the case.
That thought of, look Andy, enough's enough, has been in my head probably for the last year, really, of saying, look, you don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Your legacy is there. Just call it a day. But his ability to influence my thought process is, again, pretty astonishing, really, because you've only got to then go into work the next day and hear him say, no, I think I can do this. That goes out the window. Yeah, you're right. I think you can do it too. I think you can do it too. You're exactly right.
I think you look for miracles, that's what you do. And when you've got somebody who really wants to achieve and is going all in, then everybody buys into the hope that something magical can happen.
Just being with you is all that I will ever do.
The brilliant thing about having a sore hip after this operation is that I can hug Shane and he can't like get away from me because otherwise I'll hurt my hip. So like I can do that and he can't force his way out of my hug.
And making every sacrifice.
Come and hold my hand.
Just a little touch and a swing.
I love it when you hold my hand.
Just being with you. Some other loves me before they ever begin. But I will never.
Shane was saying sort of the record, he really wants me to come back to playing because it made me look good.
Just being with you. And lift my soul so very high. Being with you. I know my heart will never cry if you should go. There'd be nothing left for me to do. You know my heart is always true. Just being with you.
I think he realises there's a lot more happening in his world just rather than tennis because he's been away from it for a few months and he's got a young family and I think he's going to enjoy that and I think he'll enjoy them coming to see him play. I think if he can get to play singles again to a level, I think he'll find a different guy, I believe, because I do think he's more relaxed. I see a young man who looks happy with himself and happy in his life.
What are your views on playing tennis, though, at the moment?
If I was to go back to playing tennis, singles, obviously the loading and stuff on the joint is obviously going to be pretty high.
Yeah.
And what I would hate to be in a position in like 5 years, say,
of having to change it.
Yeah, because I'm happy just now and like I'm pain free and stuff. It's a difficult one because I'm quite conflicted because I really would love to be able to play tennis again, and I actually think that with how I feel, I do think I will be able to do it.
What if I said that if you go back to playing first class tennis, I think you've got a 15% chance that in the first 7 years you could destroy the hip? Because that's what it's like. It's not you will, you won't, it's chances. And for 7 years of tennis, would you take that risk?
Here we bloody well go again.
Bit more rehab.
More rehab, less tennis. That's what we're all about.
I get nothing out of doing this whatsoever. I get no joy. What?
Wow.
Oh, fucking hell. All right, here we go.
Here we go, come on.
How many reps am I doing of the first one?
10, 15, 10, 10.
I feel like I work hard and have always worked hard. But all of the stuff I've done over the years is also what's got me in the position that I'm in just now. And at 29 years old, had a complete destroyed hip. If I think about playing, it's not giving me any motivation to train or go and do the rehab stuff. I always thought tennis helped me be happy. I'm just happy not being in pain now. When you're trying to get into the top few positions in the world and stuff, like, you know, you need to give like everything to the sport pretty much. I'm not convinced that that's something that I really want to go through again.
You know, sometimes we say things that we want other people to hear. We don't really believe them ourselves. Sometimes we do. We all do that. I don't know. I think my gut is telling me that he has unfinished business. He loves what he does. I mean, if you watch him, he knows what everybody's doing still. He knows all the results. He knows everything that's going on. He's still following what's happening with the player council and, all the stuff that's going on. You don't do that if you're ready to let it go. So he's not fooling me with that one.
Hello. Massive
Hi.
grin.
Give us Daddy's hat.
Too cute.
We all said it, like he needs to just hang in there, because once he realises what it's like to be on a tennis court again, and once he remembers, and it's been so long since he's been on a tennis court without pain, we all know he wants it that much still.
Oh, I reckon if you told him like this time next year you'll be ranked in the top 10, yeah, he's biting your hand off for that, for sure. 100%. You wouldn't even finish your sentence, you would have taken that.
Oh my God.
So I was starting to worry for a minute that he'd forgotten how to play tennis, and we're doing all this rehab and he's actually turned crap.
It's coming back, quick.
Coming back.
It's kind of coming back.
So how's it feeling?
Yeah, it feels good. Feels good. I have no like post-practice soreness or like.
And what's your speed on the court? You said something about you knew all your pre-operative speed.
So the fastest I ever ran was like 7.6 meters a second, but like last year I wasn't doing that. I was struggling to get. I was running at like 6.5, 6.6 meters a second.
6.9.
Carry on.
Yeah.
Good luck. Do I need to get the hat to come to Wimbledon?
Do you need to get a hat?
Andy Murray, who of course is going to be back in action for the first time since we saw him in January at the Australian Open in doubles this afternoon with Feliciano Lopez. Did you ever think you'd see him back this early on a court, and how excited are you?
There is only one show in town here at Queen's. What is now this evening, that is the return of this man. A return that perhaps he and we didn't see coming.
Murray contributes, the crowd goes wild.
Murray and Lopez take the first. Match points. Andy Murray makes a winning return to competitive action.
I know it's only back in the doubles, but it is clearly part of a process in which he intends to try to make a full comeback as a singles player.
No pain. Like I feel like I've won. I feel like I've won. I'm just happy that I'm not in pain, so it doesn't matter whether someone wants me to win Wimbledon or come back to playing singles or whatever. Like, if I do, great. If I don't, that's also fine. It was nice to get the win tonight. Nice to get the win.
I feel like this is where Andy's is most dangerous now. He's loose, he's happy, he's got nothing to, he's got no pressure, and I think him capable of everything.
It's Lopez who does it. It is Murray who they cheer for most of all. But this happy return of Andy Murray continues. He will play in the final of the men's doubles.
And
been playing unbelievable. Frankly, he could be playing singles.
Check it. 9-4. Yeah, no challenge. That's a clean winner. Slapped it down the line. I bet the team can't believe it. What a day.
The 2019 Fever Tree champions, Feliciano Lopez and Andy Murray.
Man, we are so happy that you're back on the tennis court.
So I'm in Cincinnati. It's the night before I play my first singles match since the operation. We'll see what happens when I'm out there, but it's just brilliant to get this opportunity again. I mean, 6 months ago, I came to accept that I might never get to compete again. You know, it's been a long kind of couple of years to get to this point. My family and my team have kept me going at times when, you know, I probably didn't want to, and was close to calling it a day a number of times. So big thanks to them for keeping me going. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's see what the future holds, but I think it's gonna go well.
Now we're moving forward, ever backwards, ever forward, ever backwards, ever. And when the going gets rough and life gets tough, don't forget to breathe. I love it here, 'cause I don't have to explain to them why I'm valuable, that I'm magical. And back home they tear my soul apart. Ooh, love my broken heart. I don't know where to start. The way you smile when you believe in a future is different. It's different. Now we're moving forward, ever backwards, ever. And when the going gets rough and life gets tough, don't forget to breathe. Surely I did not go through all of this for nothing. Yet nothing's such a beautiful word. Hey, see. Oh, baby, surely you did not go through all of this here for nothing. Yeah, nothing's such a beautiful word. 'Cause nothing can be loved into something. Nothing can be loved into something. To something. Now we're moving forward.